Hey everybody, One of Wisdom here. It is, I guess it's technically Wednesday, March 20th, but we're going to call it the 19th because the sun's not up yet. But really late, it's about 3 in the morning. Kind of wanted this done before now, but it is what it is. What we have here is going to be the results from blog poll number 42. That was actually Castaways versus Newlanders. Kind of continue the trend there we had with the poll battles from Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, where we actually pit two characters against one another. This one I thought was really cool because we basically take the Castaways, which are essentially the 8 characters that did not receive a Series 2 repos and Giants, and we pit them with their elemental pairing, the Newlanders, if you will. Those characters brand new to the Skylanders series. So overall, I think we ran it close to 30 days. Most votes we had was 211. That was in the Wham-Shell versus Chill contest. As expected, we had a couple that were blowouts. Some of these aren't necessarily the best pairings we could do, given the characters available. I think that's reflected in the votes. But aside from that, I mean, there were several that were very, very close. Just a couple of votes could have swayed things. 2 of them were within 3 votes. That's kind of why last night I was tweeting and posted Google Plus and Facebook trying to remind people, if you haven't voted, do it. It is important. That said, before we go into the results, I will tell you this. One side, Castaways versus Newlanders, had 5 winners, and the other had 3. Had we have had a 4-4 deal, where 4 Castaways won and 4 Newlanders won, basically would have been perfect, and I just would have, set things off into round 2. As it is with 5 and 3, that kind of complicates things, and currently as of 3:20 a.m. I don't really have a great idea to compensate for it. Obviously, the thing to do, would just be go 4 and 4. However, that's not really fair to the 5th Castaway. I'll spoil that part for you. There are 5 Castaways that won. And then similarly, we'd be kind of giving a bump to a Newlander. So I'll probably come up with something. That said, if you have any ideas, feel free to present them. Right now, off the top of my head, 2 things come to mind. Number 1 is just run a series with these. Probably not 30 days because that would take an eternity. But, maybe like a week apiece or 5 days or something along those lines, where basically Warnado just battled Jet-Vac in round 2. He'd battle Flashwing round 3, Hot Dog round 4, Shroom Boom, and then basically when he made the rounds through the entire lineup ending with Chill, we would basically compute his wins and losses, just for the sake of keeping it simple. If he defeated the entire lineup, he would be 8-0. And say that Dino-Rang defeated everyone except, I don't know, we'll say Hot Dog. He would be 7-1. We'd kind of go about it that way, and then say that, Jet-Vac wound up 7-1 as well. We would kind of do a tiebreaker based on the margin of victory. That being, that way, where we have instances where one Skylander just slaughters the other one, maybe gets 200 votes to 0, and just to keep it simple, we would go plus 200, and then if they lost a round, obviously they're going to be minus votes. We kind of take that into account. That is option number 1. Again, essentially just have each Castaway and Newlander face off, and then go with the overall win, loss, and votes. Other option is to kind of try and wing this thing and figure out some way to maybe have some runoff to get a 4th, Newlander in the mix, and then go from there. Doesn't seem quite as fair, but on the flip side, it also seems a lot easier and a lot less time intensive. So that said, if you have a great idea that I don't at 3 in the morning, feel free to post up. Similarly, if you like one of those two options, just tell me. I may make that a poll in and of itself. I do want to get this going pretty quick. And like I said, if we do the route where we have each character going into 8 different rounds, I'd prefer to not have that like drag out forever. I know I could make it, I don't know, we could just like post Warnado against the remaining 7 and kind of go that route, keep it to where you don't have to scroll down a mile on the blog. But I'm going to quit rambling about that. Just wanted to give you something to think about. Again, before we go any farther, big thanks to everyone that voted. I think you'll be pretty happy with the results if you haven't seen them yet. Hopefully, who you wanted to won. If not, maybe if we continue things, we'll get a chance for redemption. They could still come out on top depending how we cover things. But for the sake of me getting into bed at a decent time, we're going to go on with our, basically results rundown here. First matchup was the air element. We saw Warnado taking on Jet-Vac. This was one I could see going either way. Again, I have yet to really upgrade the Newlanders, so I can't really give a definitive opinion of my own. I could honestly see it going either way. Warnado's still one of my favorites. I realize he didn't exactly upgrade incredibly well. That said, I'm a big Jet-Vac fan too. I've upgraded Legendary to the point of picking a path. Hold out on that one, but I think it would depend on the path, your play style, but overall, gameplay wise, that adds another dimension. If you bear in mind, I kind of wanted you to keep all facets of the game open. This is really a toss-up for me, but the way that ran down, 109 votes for Warnado and 95 votes for Jet-Vac. That is a plus 14 margin of victory for Warnado. Of course, puts the Castaways up 1-0. Our second battle comes from the Earth element. Yet another of my favorites, Dino-Rang, going against Flashwing. Again, Flashwing, I don't know that she's quite appreciated as much as she should be. Dino-Rang, I always felt like people just totally wrote him off. Not really sure why. He has a lot of elements going for him. But won't dive too much into that. But overall, we had, 209 votes, one of the top-tiered ones. This one was extremely close. If you monitored the polls early on, looked like Dino-Rang was up big. Flashwing was closing in as it ended. We had Dino-Rang 106 votes against Flashwing 103. That is a plus 3 margin of victory for Dino-Rang. Again, that's why it's important you vote. Again, this had 209 votes. Somehow, Wham-Shell Chill had 211. I don't know who those two people were that maybe didn't vote in this one. Accidentally scrolled over it, couldn't pick one, etc. Bottom line, just those two people that we know were present. Say they would have gone to Flashwing, this would have been a 1-point win for Dino-Rang. Had they gone for Dino-Rang, would have opened it up to 5. So, again, that's why I tell you every vote's important. That's why I kind of come in from time to time, bump it, mention it on Twitter. But win number 2 for the Castaways, as we see Dino-Rang edge out Flashwing. Fire element, we will come in now. We've got the Castaway Sunburn, who was insanely popular when he came out. What was that? It was like mid-20s of March last year, so almost a year old now. And, of course, the Newlander, Hot Dog. I kind of feel like the timing of Hot Dog, kind of getting a widespread release, i.e. not just GameStop, and then simultaneously having Molten Hot Dog, might have swayed things. I say that just because of the insane margin of victory. But we saw Sunburn with 78 votes and Hot Dog with 128. That is a plus 50 margin of victory. Again, I have not upgraded Hot Dog. I do know that when I introduced him, his upgrades did look pretty cool. That said, I have no idea of what they would do gameplay or PvP wise. Sunburn, I like him. You know, I was never like a huge fanatical fan like a lot of people were. He's not up there with like Terrafin and Dino-Rang in my personal rankings. That said, I did not expect this one to be plus 50 hot dog. Could have seen it going either way, obviously, again, with me not knowing how hot dog really upgrades, but as popular as Sunburn was, I thought this would be pretty close. Again, I was taking into account that hot dog, you know, just kind of hitting the scene, the new guy in town, generally amps up the votes in any poll. But I was thinking this one may be worst case scenario, like a 20 vote swing. But again, hot dog win number 1 for the Newlanders with a plus 50. So pretty impressive there. And kind of something I think you'll kind of follow me along while I was saying I wasn't expecting that. Life Element. We have our Castaway Camel. Again, kind of a late release and insanely popular last time around against Shroom Boom, who is definitely not, you know, up there on the tier of, you know, say like Pop Fizz and popularity or anything. But the way this one panned out, we had Camo, 141 votes. You can probably tell which way this is going to swing just by hearing that. And Shroom Boom, 66 votes. That is a plus 75 margin of victory for Camel. They absolutely slaughtered Shroom Boom. More than doubled Shroom Boom's actual, you know, vote total. But again, when you see Warnado edge out Jet-Vac, Camel absolutely slaughters Shroom Boom. That kind of makes the Sunburn hot dog thing that much more interesting, being plus 50. But Camo, I know a lot of people liked him, and then he kind of started taking some flack online. Not really sure why. Seemed like people were mad he was overpowered, and then somehow that turned into overrated. Again, I'm not a huge fan of him, but I will tell you he is insanely powerful in story mode. I haven't used him a lot in PvP, but you know, usually when I do come out on top, depending how you upgrade him, he's just very potent. Again, Shroom Boom I've yet to upgrade. I am pretty interested in his Mushroom Ring upgrade though. But as it panned out, a plus 75 for Camo, giving the Castaways their 3rd victory. Next up, a lot of you can probably guess how this one turned out. But we have Voodooed. He's kind of Boomer-esque, if you will. He was the one guy, sat on the shelf. Ghost Roaster did too, but I think it's because parents didn't want to pick him up for kids. I had a lot of people email me, you know, telling me that last year. For whatever reason, Voodooed and Boomer last time around, they were just kind of always available. Of course, now, you know, it's a different story. They sold the stock. They didn't really get run again. And, you know, or you could have picked them up with dust on them, you know, this time last year. Now they're probably going for double online or something. Yeah, I mean, he's got an interesting look to him. He actually plays pretty well, but for whatever reason, he just didn't seem to resonate as well as, say, like your Warnado, Sunburn, Camo, you know, Wham-Shell. But, you know, give him a chance. I think you'll, you know, like him. As with most, you know, if you don't like him initially, just take the time to upgrade him. You'll probably be swayed a bit. As fate would have it, he went up against Pop Fizz of the Magic Element. Of course, he's our Newlander, and Pop Fizz is insanely popular. Again, out of the Newlanders, my personal ranks, just based on the playtime I've had and being box stock, is pretty powerful. I like him. He's kind of quirky. Obviously, the voice acting is great with him, but I mean, I don't have him on that same tier, apparently, as most people do. That said, he is just insanely popular. He's been that way when he first came out, which was obviously at launch, and hadn't really slowed down now. Every day I get people asking me, you know, is Light Core Pop Fizz out? Nobody asks much about Hex or Series 2 Robot, or even Light Core Chill, the regular one, but Light Core Pop Fizz, I'm inundated with questions on if he's out yet. That said, you probably know how this one went. Voodooed. 57 votes, and Pop Fizz 153 votes. That is a plus 96 margin of victory, and what can you say? It's just one of those deals. This was not an ideal matchup. Just like I said, for whatever reason, I feel like more people relate positively to Pop Fizz. That said, just based on his initial, attacks, I could see him probably upgrading great. Beast Mode's probably hilarious as well. Voodoo, like I said, just kind of boomer-esque, didn't get a lot of love. Does have a following, it's just a much, much smaller following than, say, your Pop Fizz. But that is a plus 96 margin victory. That is the second win for the Magic or Newlanders, if you will. Now we head to the tech element. This one was epic. It was, I think the first time I checked, it was like 4-3 boomer. And every time I checked, it was like 17-16, 34-33, 49-50. It wound up, the contest had actually, 209 votes. Again, I don't know where those two extra people were that voted in Wham-Shell and Chill, but you would have made the difference in this one. This one was settled by 1 vote. We have Castaway Newlander, of course, your ubiquitous, underappreciated left to rot on the shelf from Series 1 Skylander. Oddly enough, Sprocket kind of has that same thing going for her. She had a lot of people interested in her at the start. I'm sure they're still fans, but every time I go looking for Sky, every week basically, the one Newlander, particularly the ones that were released, at launch, she's the one that's always there in single pack form. You can always find her triple pack. And where you might have trouble finding Chill in single pack form, Sprocket was still there. I thought she'd have a pretty wide appeal. I know a lot of people said she looks like a Lego. That actually would appeal to a lot of people because there's tons of Lego people out there. But oddly enough, they're kind of like the odd couple. Sort of what you saw with Boomer last year, just always being available. Where people would come in and purchase every Skylander but him, it seemed. Kind of see the same thing with Sprocket. And that made for one heck of a matchup. I mean, like I said, this was 1 vote difference. As it came down, we actually had Sprocket 105 votes and Boomer 104 votes. As you can see, he's a little disappointed there. But again, this is why every vote matters. Again, those 2 people that voted in Wham-Shell Chill and didn't vote in this one, that alone could have swayed it. I mean, Boomer could have tied it, and then with the next vote won it, 106, 105. So very, very, very close. This is another one we may run, kind of like the Stealth Elf Drobot from one of our first tournaments. But as it worked out, Sprocket emerges victorious, actually gives the Newlanders their 3rd win. We come in now. This one I actually thought would be a bit closer than it was. We have the Castaway Ghost Roaster. Again, one of my personal favorites. Fright Rider, I really like him. Once I've upgraded him, I can kind of see how he stacks, on my personal rankings. But great pose, good backstory, has a lot going for him if his upgrades are well. Undead Showdown, what did we pull in? There's a plus 16 margin of victory from one of these guys. And the one that emerged victorious with 113 votes to 97 was Ghost Roaster. Wasn't quite sure how this one would pan out. I kind of thought Fright Rider would have had a bigger following, but based on what I see and hear from people, it's kind of a Pop Fizz, Hot Dog, Flash Wing, tend to be your top 3. The others kind of get, not as much attention. And you got kind of your Jet-Vac, Sprocket, Chill, Shroom Boom. Not necessarily in that order, but you get the rough idea. So Ghost Roaster came through, actually provided the 4th win for our Castaways. And finally, our last showdown is the water element. Obviously, our Newlander is going to be Chill. Just got her legendary version. Just for the record, for those wondering, a regular light core version, not the legendary light core, but regular light core Chill, still yet to surface over here. Going up against Wham-Shell, who is still insanely hard to find unless you buy like that tower case at Toys R Us. I know how I would have voted in this one, but the way it worked out, like I said, this one surprisingly had the most votes at 211. It was a plus 11 margin of victory, ironically. As it turned out, the crustacean sensation Wham-Shell put the mace to Chill. He won by 11 votes. I was never too big on Wham-Shell. I don't know if it's because he was just overhyped and, I don't know. Do like his tertiary attack, but I mean, he just didn't offer much to me. I realize a lot of it may be just he's still hard to come by. A lot of people, are getting him for the first time ever. That has a lot to do with it. Chill, I'm not quite sure why, but she doesn't seem to resonate as well as some of the Newlanders. I really liked her box stock, and then I've upgraded Legendary Light Core Chill to the point of picking a path. And I actually did her soul gem too. Call of the Narwhal the Whale is actually blue. I mean, gold if anyone cares. I'll show that to you when we upgrade her. But I personally would have gone with Chill in this one. That said, it is what it is. Wham-Shell won by 11. And as that worked out, it's not necessarily Wham-Shell's fault, but that puts the Castaways winning 5 and the Newlanders only winning 3, which puts us in that predicament that I covered at the start of this video, not really knowing how exactly to proceed. So again, my options are A, we basically have each character, make a run through the others, meaning, again, Chill would come in, she'd battle Ghost Roaster, Boomer, Voodoo, etc., and then we'd kind of go, the winner has the highest cumulative, win-loss or, tie break with votes, etc. And similarly, we could come up with some way to kind of get, a fourth, eliminate one Castaway and add in one Newlander. Don't really know how to do that fairly. Like I said, it's like probably 3:30 in the morning now. But if you have any ideas, by all means, please let me know. The blog is your best bet. I'd be sure to see it there quickly. Twitter also, I'd see instantly. We'll monitor this on YouTube. Again, I appreciate everybody voting, but overall, very, very cool matchups here between the Castaways and Newlanders. Had everything from a nail biter, decided by 1 vote between Sprocket and Boomer. Biggest margin of victory, I guess, was the plus 96 Pop Fizz over Voodoo. It's a little bit of everything. Most of the contests were close. Again, Dino-Rang Flashwing plus 3. But I was very happy, with the overall vote. Just the amount of people interested in this, really. I thought it was a pretty sweet concept. Like I said, I want to continue it, just not quite sure how to do it. I'm currently leaning towards option A, where basically Jet-Vac goes through, takes on Dino-Rang, Sunburn, Camel, etc. So, may do that. Again, I'd kind of like to keep the polls a little shorter as we progress. This was the main battles I wanted, just element versus element. Thought, that'd be a pretty sweet setup. But again, big thanks to everybody that voted. Hopefully you enjoyed it. More importantly, hopefully who you wanted to won. If not, when we continue this, be sure, to spread the word, tell your friends, get more people involved, particularly if they're going to vote for who you want to win. But do plan to continue this series, and now that, we have all the Newlanders, we have all the Giants, I'll be able to kind of do some more poll battles and stuff. I don't want to load the blog down to the point, like I said, where you actually get tired of scrolling down to vote. But we'll kind of see what happens. Like I said, I appreciate everyone voting. Makes it more interesting. And by all means, if you were somebody that did not vote in Sprocket and Boomer and you voted for Chill and Wham-Shell, shame on you. like I said, I realize, it may be a case you overlook it, coming down, you just accidentally scrolled over one. Similarly, I mean, you may love both of them, think they're even, you might hate both of them, I don't know. But bottom line, I mean, every vote matters. I realize in some of them we had the blowouts, but like I said, while you have a plus 96, you've got others that are plus 1 and plus 3, so never know how it's going to pan out. And again, a lot of these that looked like they were going to be complete blowouts actually turned out to be relatively competitive as the gaps kind of closed down. So again, thanks to everyone that voted. If you've got any ideas, whether you like my option A, if you've got some way you think would be fair or fun to kind of make it 4 and 4 advance, basically I would take, like the biggest margin of victory, which we'd say would be Pop Fizz on the Newlanders. He would go up against the smallest margin of victory from the Castaways, which, just for keeping it simple, we'll say would be Dino-Rang at plus 3. And then we kind of go from there. Those 4 become 2, and then we crown a champion. Other option, again, A, is we just kind of make a big series out of it and see what happens. But again, thanks to everyone that voted. We will be continuing this one as soon as we figure out how to proceed in the best fashion. And more importantly, we're going to have a bunch more of these. I think they turn out pretty cool. I'm kind of a numbers guy. I enjoy it, obviously. If we're getting 200 voters, I know some of you enjoy it, so we'll keep it going. Again, thanks for voting. Post up your comments. The blog would be the best place. I realize some people, won't do that. YouTube, I will monitor, just because this was, pretty fun. So we'll see if anybody has any good ideas. But questions, comments, you can ask here on YouTube. However, the blog, which will have a link right at the top of the video description, will be your best bet. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. As always, thanks for watching, and we will catch you back for round 2 just as soon as we figure out how to structure it. So stay tuned for that, get ready to vote, and pull for your favorite Skylander.